Welcome to Auction version 4, the event management software tool from Auction Systems. In this video, I will show you how to make a backup of your project. What is a backup? A backup is a copy of your project as it is at the moment the backup is made, and it's all zipped together into a single file. Because that project is zipped together into a single file, called an ACB file, it is often small enough to email to a colleague. There are two types of backups: user-initiated backups and auto-backups made by the software. Either type of backup can be used to move a project from one computer to another if you get a new computer or if you're handing data entry off to a colleague. You can make a user-initiated backup for insurance. If you're not sure about the reliability of your computer or server, it probably wouldn't be a bad idea to make an occasional backup of your project and store the backup on a flash drive or other external memory device, so if needed, you can always restore a lost project from the most recent backup. A backup can be used to merge data from one project into another if your organization has network edition of the software, and if you're working on one portion of the event in your own project, say item donations, and another person is working on their own project for reservations, you can use a backup to merge those two projects together. If you have Auction Cloud, you will need to make a backup of your project to take to the event so that you don't have to use the cloud at your event. And then post-event, if you still have user months available, you can overwrite the pre-event project in the cloud with a backup of the project from the event. Also, before your cloud account expires, always make a backup of your cloud project so that you will have it for reference in the future or to post back in the cloud when you activate again the next year. An ACB backup file cannot be opened without Auction, so always use Auction to look at a backup file. In the Projects Tasks in Auction, there's a Restore Backup Activity button. So if you receive a backup file as an attachment to an email from a colleague, you must save the backup to your computer and then use Auction to open the project that's contained in that backup by restoring the project to a location on your computer. If you have a backup saved on a flash drive, restore the backup to the computer. Flash drives should only be used for backups. Restored projects should be restored to the hard drive of the computer or the server. User-initiated backups can be stored anywhere the user chooses. There are two ways to create a user-initiated backup, and in both instances, you must first open the project to make a backup. One way to make a backup is to click the gavel in the upper left corner of the screen and choose Backup Project. The other way is to click Maintenance and Repair on the Main Home task ribbon and then click Backup Project. In either case, you will see this screen, where if you really want to, you can change the name of the backup. However, I suggest in most instances you should stick with the name that Auction gives the backup file, because it will include the name of the project followed by the year, month, day, and time in 24-hour time the backup is being made. If you leave the name as is, you will always be able to tell from the file name which project the backup is for, as well as when it was made. And the file name will help you figure out which backup is the most recent. Also on the screen, you can change the location where the backup is being saved using the file tree on the left. The default location will be shown to you already, which is the main project backups folder in the Auctions folder on your computer. This Auctions folder was created for you when you installed Auction on your computer and can be found on the C drive of your computer in Users, Public, and Public Documents. You will see an Auto Backups folder for each project you have ever opened on the computer. Never store a user-initiated backup in an Auto Backup folder. Please leave the Auto Backup folders for your projects for any auto backups Auction makes for you. So save your user-initiated backup either in the Project Backups folder, which is the default, or use the file tree on the left to store this backup in another location, such as on a flash drive, a network location, or a server location. Click Save and the backup will be made. What's an auto backup? An auto backup is a type of backup made for you by Auction. Every time you open a project, Auction will make an auto backup of the project as it appears at that moment. If you leave your computer and Auction running for a long period of time without closing Auction or your project, Auction will also make an auto backup whenever 100 changes have been made to the data set. Before you import a spreadsheet or merge projects together, Auction will make a backup of the data pre-merge or pre-import. So if the merge or import was not what you wanted or expected, you can restore from an auto backup that was made for your project before the merge or import happened. Restoring from an auto backup allows you to get your data right back to where you were before the merge or the import. Auto backups are always saved behind the scenes on your specific computer. Even if you have Network Edition and your project itself is stored on the server, you will find the auto backups on your machine, not on the server. Auction will make auto backups and store them on your computer for a couple of very good reasons. If your project is on a server and you lose access to your server, or during routine maintenance on the server an important file in the database gets erased, you will be able to look at each computer that had access to the project and look at each of their auto backups folder for that specific project. Find the most recent one and restore your project either to your local computer or to the server. And if your project is stored on your computer and you renumber your items or import a spreadsheet or make any other changes all at once and find that it really wasn't what you wanted to do, locate the auto backup and restore back to the point you were right before the import or merge or other mistake. Because an auto backup is made on your computer every time you open a project, I suggest that one of the easiest ways to make a backup at the end of the day of data entry is to close your project and then reopen the project, because that creates an auto backup. Then close the project for the night, knowing that your computer has an auto backup of the project in the auto backups folder that is a copy of the project as it existed at the end of the day before. Thank you for joining us.